In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact 100K funding roadmap that we use on all of our own clients here at VentureCap Consulting. This is the same process that we follow when we take someone on and want to put them in the strongest position possible to secure funding. I'm going to give you this entirely free so you can dramatically increase your chances of getting up to $100,000 or more in 0% interest funding with your business. Now, we'll keep this very step by step. That way you can easily follow it, whether you choose to work with us or do this on your own. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a copy of your 3B credit report. This just means the three bureaus report that shows the data from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You do need all three because different banks will pull from different bureaus. And if you only look at one, you might think you're good, but then a bank pulls from a different bureau and denies you based on something that you never even saw. So step one is to pull a full three bureau report. If you don't already have a place to do that, we do use a $1 trial site, which is linked below. You can click on that, access the trial site, pay the $1, download your full report, and then cancel right after if you don't want to keep the subscription. The point is, before we talk about funding, we need to see exactly what the banks are going to see on all three bureaus. Now, once we have your credit reports, we want to dissect them. So we want to take a good look at them. Now, if your credit's good, you're over 700 with no major negatives, then we can move you to the funding stage, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But if you do have some bad credit, we do want to look at everything. We want to go line by line. We want to look for any collections, charge-offs, late payments, and any other derogatories just to see what we're dealing with here. And if you do have a lot of negative reports, then we typically will start with credit repair. Our approach is typically to use a credit sweep method, which typically gets items removed in about 30 to 60 days. This way we can have a quick turnaround because typically most people who are looking for funding would need it sooner rather than later. Now, a couple things to know. Late payments on open accounts that are more than 2 years old are usually okay. Our big focus here is on collections, charge-offs, and more recent derogatories. And again, if you're over 700, then we can skip the credit repair stage, but this is something that we do offer as a service, and we can help get you there as well. Now, again, you can use the link below to book a call with us, and we can discuss your credit report and see if we can help you there. We'll walk you through the entire thing, how the credit sweep works, and how we help clients get negative items removed in that 30 to 60-day window so we can move you forward to funding. Now, in that time frame, whether we're repairing your credit or we've moved on because we have a good credit score, we do want to optimize your credit profile. Again, typically we want someone above 700, and then we can move into optimization. This is where we fine-tune the profile so the banks feel comfortable giving you a large limit at 0% interest. A couple things that we focus on is, one, inquiry removal. So we remove any unnecessary hard inquiries using our 24-hour inquiry removal hack. And this will basically remove those because too many inquiries can actually spook lenders. So we do want to get that cleaned up. The next thing we want to do is we want to keep our utilization under 30% per card. We get the utilization of each card under 30%. Ideally, the lower the better. So 10% is even better. And then we want to do this again, typically while we're repairing your credit. So if you are in our credit repair process, we will typically optimize at the same time. This is the reason why we want to do that is because it takes sometimes up to 30 days for the card to report to your bureau. So if it's going to take that 30 days, we'd rather do it while we're repairing your credit. That way we're not having to wait and prolong, the entire process. And then step 3, so we typically want to also make sure that the average age of accounts is a bit higher. So if your average age of accounts is under 2 years, we typically want to try and get that boosted to above 3 years by using trade lines. We'll usually add high quality trade lines that report in about 2 weeks. So again, you can kind of see we're doing this at the same time as your credit repair is important because, again, that could be up to another 2 weeks just because of how long it takes. This is also a service that we offer. So again, if you do need that, we can discuss that as well. And then finally, we typically want to do a form of credit limit increase if possible. So for example, if your existing credit limits are low, we request a credit limit increase from your current banks. The key rule here is only asking the banks that do a soft pull and not a hard inquiry. We don't want any hard inquiries moving forward. And even if you have a decent credit limit, we still want to try and get a soft pull to increase our credit limit because it'll just show, when we apply for funding that you have higher comparables, which will help us. Now, all of this being said, essentially we want to remove the negatives pay down utilization, add trade lines if needed, and then boost our limits. And again, this should all overlap in time. Okay, don't do these steps one by one with big gaps in between, or you'll drag out the process for months. Okay. Now, once we're done with that, we want to structure the LLC properly. So again, we want to get you optimized, then we can move on to business structure. Lenders look at your business name, your industry NAICS code, and how risky they perceive the business to be. So for example, with the name, we want to avoid anything that sounds high risk. So no XYZ real estate investments, no XYZ trucking and transports, nothing like that. Those names can trigger red flags, and we want to try and stay away from them. Instead, we'd use low risk neutral names. For example, XYZ Group, XYZ Enterprise, XYZ Solutions, something like that, more friendly to the banks and something that they're more favorable to lend towards. On top of that, we do want to update the NAICS code. Typically, our favorite one as of right now is 541611. That's Administrative and Management Consulting Services. Banks are typically very comfortable with consulting services, and that code is widely used right now because it's considered low risk and it's been very beneficial. And then finally, if you don't have if your credit still isn't where it needs to be, even after repair and optimization, you don't have to give up at that time. We can still try something else, and that's where we add a cosigner. So here's how that works. You bring in someone with strong credit. We add that person as a co-owner of the business by adding them to the articles of incorporation. Then now lenders will now see their credit attached to the business, which dramatically boosts your approval odds together. This step alone has helped a lot of people who otherwise would have been stuck because of their own personal credit history. Okay. Now, once we move to the application process, we want to make sure we're applying with the proper data points and with a banker. We do not want to be applying online. We want to make sure that we have clean credit, optimized utilization, solid age, strong limits, a properly structured LLC, and a cosigner if needed. Then we apply for that funding. And this is where most people mess up. Most people just go straight to the bank's website, fill out the application online, guess on the data points, and then hope for the best. And then they wonder why they get only $3,000 or $5,000 in approvals. What we do instead is apply with very specific, tested data points that banks want to see and apply directly through a banker whenever possible. And because of this and the relationships that we have, it's very common for us to help clients secure $50,000 to $150,000 in approvals, even when they don't have revenue. So yes, you can absolutely apply on your own, but if you don't know how to structure the application and you don't go through the right channels, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. We see it all the time. Someone applies at the bank like Chase on their own, they get approved for $3,000 and they come to us and say, hey, I saw you're getting people $50,000 to $75,000 at Chase. I only got $3,000. Can you help me now? And then unfortunately at that point, our hands are tied with that bank for the next 6 months at a minimum. Once banks approve you for a low limit, they actually want to see you manage it before they consider increasing it or giving you a second card. And again, this can push you back 6 months or more with that specific bank. That's why the way you apply the first time is so important. So to recap everything, essentially you're going to pull your 3 bureau credit reports. You're going to remove negative items with a fast, effective repair strategy. Optimize your profile through inquiries, utilization, age, and limits. Structure your LLC with a low-risk name and NAICS code. Again, 541611 is the ideal one. If you need it, you would use a strong cosigner. And then finally, you would apply using the right data points with the banker and not just an online form. Now, how we can help? Essentially, if you're serious about securing $100,000 or more in 0% interest funding for your business and you don't want to guess your way through this, we can walk you through the entire process, start to finish. We've been doing this for years. We know what banks are looking for, and we already have the banker relationships in place. So if you are interested, you can click the link below and you can schedule a call with our team. On that call, we'll look at where you are right now, see what needs to be fixed or optimized, and map out the plan to position you for max funding. If you're tired of being denied, tired of small limits, and you want real business funding to launch or scale your business the right way, book the call and see if you're a good fit. Talk to you soon.